kind of see, you know, the logo a little bit.
Welcome back, sir.
What up, fam? Thanks for tuning back into the channel. So today I'm going to be starting the Starlight headliner that I originally purchased. So I've kind of got a sweet, what I think is going to be a cool design to go with the theme of the car. And basically I'm going to take you guys through that. Some people do this inside the car. I think it's too much of a headache to try to do it inside the car. If I was doing like a simple just design where I'm just drilling holes and putting them through, I wouldn't care. But this one is going to be a design specific, so I kind of had to fold it to kind of get it out of the car. So what I did was I lowered the driver's side seat down, reclined it back, and then I had to manipulate the actual headliner and then kind of fold it to get it out of the back door. That's the easiest way that I found. Again, your headliner is flexible, so you can get it out without damaging it. Just make sure you don't keep it bent for too long, because then it'll kind of screw it up in the long run. So as you can see, I have it out, and gonna go ahead and get started on the actual design itself, so that way I can get everything laid out how I want it and get everything set up. So again, I think it's gonna be a really dope design once I get done, and I'll go ahead and kind of walk you guys through that as I get it on there. So I'm not going to show you which design I'm doing until it's done. So after I get it drawn, you'll see what it is, and then hopefully some people who are fans of the IronKat will get what it is when it's done, or at least when it's being done. All right. Next thing I did was a kind of a quality control check for the actual first fiber optic kit. So I bought two. I bought one with a 550 piece fiber optics. So right now it doesn't look like 550 pieces, but I guarantee you it is. They're very tiny, and these are the ones that are 13 feet long. So you have different lengths for the charger. Since it's a longer vehicle, I just go with the 13 foot length. So I have some extra give, extra length. So in case I decide, because I'm going to run it into the trunk. So I just want to have that extra length so I don't have to worry about pulling the fiber optics too hard and pulling them out or snapping them or damaging them. If I were to snap them all off at this one point, it'll still emit light because again, it's coming all the way through these fiber optics. That's just how fiber optic plastic works. So if I were to cut them all right here, so cut a foot off or cut 2 feet off, it's still going to work. I prefer not to do that because I want all the length I can get because, again, I'm running it to my trunk. So let's get to it.
any one of one.
Moving forward, just finished the outer triangle of the design. Now moving on to the center. You know, once you get past a certain amount of freaking fibers, it looks like a mess. It's actually fairly organized. I just have to create some space in order to get in there to mark up all my spots. As you can see, it's progressing. I'm about 440 strands in. Sorry, looking at the same thing for days gets cumbersome after a while. But 440 strands in. I got 110 left in the first kit, and then we'll go ahead and get started on the second kit, which is another 480 strands. So as you can definitely see, a little time consuming. The only reason why it seems a little bit more time consuming is because I'm doing such an intricate design, and then I'm taking my time. I'm not rushing it. So definitely one for the books. One thing that I almost was going to run into a problem with was going to be the frequency of the light engines. So they're both the same. So if I cut them on at the same time, there's not going to be that separation in the design. So it would all just kind of look the same. But if I turn them on separately, basically unplug one and then plug the other one in, usually probably if I use the Bluetooth controller, it'll all sync back together. So I'll have to figure that out down the road. But for now, it's going to work out pretty well. But yeah, let's get back to it and get this center done. You know, only a million more strands to go. Stay tuned. Alright y'all, so moving on, just finished the most part of the harder part of the design, which is really just kind of the inner triangle, the outer triangle, and then all the outer ring pieces. Now I'm just going back with the second kit and lining it. So as you can see, right now they're bobbing with two different colors, so that's kind of what I was hoping for. Obviously, since they're basically the same thing, their frequencies are kind of the same. So, like I said before, gonna have to unplug one and then plug one and turn one on to where I want it, and then plug the other one up in order to have the two different colors going at the same time. But overall, it's turning out freaking awesome. Can't wait for it to be done, just because I'm tired of looking at fiber optics. But other than that, getting there. So I'm probably 50 in right now with the new kit. Maybe, probably not. Probably like 10. Honestly, I don't know at this point. I'm not even counting anymore. So just getting there and almost done. Hopefully, stay tuned.
Like snort. Like snort.
Alright, so just finished the outer circle of the entire design. It's looking good. It's really starting to come together. Now I'm going to start the outer triangle and then move on to the inner triangle. And then it should be done and ready for reinstall in the car. So right now it does look like a jumble freaking mess. I'm going to have to figure out a way to kind of flatten these fibers down a little bit, so that way they don't give any pushback. So when I'm reinstalling it, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the foam padding that came off of it, and I'll probably put it back on it. Just hit it with a little bit of dabs of hot glue, so that way it holds it down, and I don't have to worry about this kind of pushing up as I'm going to reinstall it. So I'm already going to have two separate bundles of fiber optics that are coming out the sides of where the headliner is mounted. So obviously I'm going to have to get a little bit of compression in. So these fibers, they're good. You can see I'm pushing down on them, and they're actually flexing. So obviously, again, it's plastic. You just don't want to flex it too much, because it can damage them. So that's like if you take one and you just crease it, you'll see the light emitting from that spot that you creased it at, and not the actual end of it. So getting there, and again, like I said, the entire outer ring is done. So that was about 260 fibers themselves. The inner ring is, the inner working is another 550 of them, and then I've still got 220 to go. So should be getting those done here shortly. So again, guys, stay tuned. as you can see, I am finally done, at least with drilling, mocking it up, drawing it out, drilling them all, sticking them all through the hole, and then gluing them down. 1,030 fibers later, and just as many freaking glue dots. It looks pretty damn dope so far. Just from, obviously, you can't really tell a whole lot from this madness up top. However, we can try to take a look down at the bottom. See what it looks like. So yeah, you can definitely kind of see, you know, the logo a little bit.
Looks good.
Definitely worked out pretty well. So, took hours of my life away. Felt like I was throwing my life away, and it probably did. But it looks good. So now I just got to get it reinstalled in the car. I got to put the pad back on, but get it reinstalled in the car, and then got to run all these fibers throughout the car into the trunk, and then do my little electrical work to get it hooked up, so that way anytime the car turns on, they turn on. So yeah, as you can see, it I thought I was actually going to run short at the end, because fibers really started disappearing as I started finishing the triangle. As I started finishing the triangle, it really started disappearing very, very quickly. However, did a count and a recount, and I was on point. I actually had more than what I expected. So just went back and kind of filled a couple of the
Come here, baby.
empty spots, or spots where there was a little bit more gap than in other places, and I think it turned out pretty well. So obviously I gotta get this matted down a little bit, and then get it reinstalled in the car, and I can't wait to do that. And then obviously I'll show kind of how I disassembled the headliner when taking it out, because I didn't get that part of the video, because I was just trying to get it out. So obviously my camera person didn't have time to set up, because I was just too quick.
Camera person?
My camera wife, whatever. I'll just basically walk it in reverse on how to take it out when I'm doing the reinstall of putting it back in. So, and then obviously I have to take nail clippers and then clip all the excess on the underside of the actual headliner, so you don't see it, and then you just see the design. So thanks for tuning in, at least for this part. Next up is the reinstall. Stay tuned. Just got the headliner back in. I had to bend it a little bit more than I wanted, but it's back in. So hopefully when I get it remounted, I won't even notice the crease in the headliner itself. Obviously with over 1,000 strands, one was bound to get ripped. One got ripped. But so far it's back in the car, and I figured out how I was gonna route the fiber optics. So right now I kind of got it mocked up a little bit. So hopefully once I get enough space and get in the trunk, I'll be able to see a little bit more where it's going. All right, so basically what I'm having to do is kind of take out it's kind of like the corner seat cushion of the back seat, and then kind of routing it over the airbag, kind of make a sharp turn and then come back down the side. So when I get it done, I'll show you kind of how I did it. So you can see right now it's kind of hard to run the camera and do this at the same time.
Boom. That is how that one will go. Cool, that looks good. Alright. So, right now, here's what I did. Here's what I got. So, the top of the headliner obviously is here. Okay, so you see it up here. I've got the bundle of fiber optics. They are coming through here. So they're coming to the edge of your headliner, right? And then I have them going down. So right here you have this airbag. That's what I've got it doing. I've got my fiber optics going over the airbag. Okay, they're going all the way down past it. All right, so it's kind of almost resting on top. And then they are coming back behind there. And then they are coming down this pillar. And then they're gonna tuck back behind here. Sorry, light's blinding. So they're gonna come back behind here. And then that's where they feed down behind, between the body and this this liner, and then it comes out from underneath it. So I'll pull it from underneath. So I'm good that I have access. So that's why I ordered the 13.1 feet long, so that way I don't have to worry about, you know, it being too short. So as you can see, it's already done on this side, but it's coming down. So again, coming, you know, across the top, coming down over the top, the airbag, coming down, bending, and then going behind here. Okay, and then once it's back on, it should sit flat underneath here, and so I shouldn't have to worry about it. All right. What up, fam? So obviously we are done with the Starlight headliner. It is absolutely done. So obviously you can see it. It's lit up. It's nice and smooth. You can't see anything that's like an imperfection in it right now. So definitely excited about how it turned out. You can see the design, obviously. Got the control to where I can cut it on, cut it off. And there you go. So obviously the one reacts to music, so or sound, like deep sound, bass sound. So if I just cut on the one, you just see kind of like the outline, the logo, the triangle, the circle for the arc reactor. And then if I hit something, boom, there you go. Obviously I want it to play to music, so it'll play to the music since the subwoofer's in the trunk. So essentially, I'm gonna, since I didn't get the video of how I took the headliner out, we'll just kind of briefly go over that. So right here you have your apron airbags. It's kind of like a cover for your A-pillar. So what you do, obviously, get your finger behind there so your headliner is flexible. Get your finger behind there and just kind of pry it to where it comes open, unless you have an upholstery tool, which I do, but I just use it on hands because it's you know, just as easy. So pop that off, and you'll have some clips and stuff behind there. So that'll give you a little bit of space to actually pull this headliner down when you have all these screws out. Next thing you want to do is take your upholstery tool, pop down your little sunglass dome light garage accessory thing. You pop that off, and there's going to be a single screw that's up in the center. It's a Torx bit. The Torx bit is the same as all of these screws up here. The only Torx bit difference, there's two Torx bits that you have to use. I don't remember them off the top of my head, the sizing. I think one's a T15, the other one's like a T25 or 20. One's bigger, one's smaller. Simple as that. So the smaller ones are for all these screws up here, and then your larger Torx bit are for all of your oh shit handles. So essentially, once you what you got to do is kind of, you know, offset your sun visor. There's a little tab, so if you take like an upholstery tool, like a thin part of an upholstery tool, or you take like a flathead screwdriver, you pop that open. That's where your screw's at for both of these for your sun visors. Under here, you've got another, there's like a split that's in the back of this cover. So this is a cover, you pop that off, and it should slide up here, and then it'll reveal the two torque screws that are underneath there. And that's how you take that off. Once you take that off, there's going to be a wire connection for the lights that are actually installed in your mirrors for your sun visors. Once you get the headliner to where it's kind of sagging a little bit, that's when you it's going to obviously be pressure. You disconnect it via pressure, and then you don't have to worry about that anymore. For your oh shit handles, there's going to be a little cover tab so you can't see the screw. All you do is you can get your fingernail underneath there and you pop it off, so that way you see the exposed Torx bit, and then you just take that off. So you can use either a ratchet set, or you can use a drill or a screwdriver. Makes it easy to get them out. So basically, once you get those down, you go to the back seat. You take off the oh shit handles, and obviously the rear seats, they have a light in them. So you just on one side there's kind of like some lift tabs. You pull that out, it'll separate the light from the handle, and so then you're gonna have to actually use some sort of flat tool to I used basically like a credit card that I had to get underneath the clip for the light in order to disconnect it from the wire. Once you do that, it's fully disconnected from the wiring system, the wiring harness that's basically glued to your headliner. Nope, no ma'am. And then once you do that, you go to the back seat, you pop off the covers for the C-pillar columns. Basically what I did, again, I just used my fingers and kind of pulled it down. Again, it's going to sound bad. It's going to sound like you're breaking it, but really all you're doing is getting the tabs out of the body. So you pull those off, and then sorry about that. You pull those off, and then it'll expose the rear of the rear airbags for the other apron airbags. So once you do that, it'll give you a little bit more wiggle room to actually get your headliner down. Just take your fingers on an upholstery tool, pop it out of these side pillars, unless you feel like pulling those off. I didn't feel like pulling them off, so all I did was kind of push pressure and then just kind of push-pull method to kind of get it out. After that, if you want to work on it in your car, you can to drill all your holes and, you know, go through with all the fiber optics. That's fine. Some people do it that way. I didn't do it that way because obviously I had a design that I had to do. So I decided to get it out of the car. Plus, I've gotten it out of the car before. Be careful. So went through the back door. So I kind of lowered the driver's side seat, and then I kind of slightly folded it and then got it out of the car. After that, obviously, did the design on the headliner on the top side, the side that you can't see. After I did that, I took a 1/16 drill bit, drilled all the holes, step by step as you saw throughout the video, and then obviously hot glued everything. So mine is 2 kits, so this is 1,030 different fiber optics that are actually in here. And in the reinstall, so putting it back in the car, I had to fold it a little bit more than I did when I had to take it out, and that was just because of all the glue. It made it a little bit more stiff in order to get it in there, plus the bundles of fiber optics. So once I got it back in the car, I snapped a couple of the fiber optics. It's bound to happen, unfortunately, because when you put it back in the car, you're going to need at least 2 people, or else you're probably going to snap a little bit more. So when I was actually clipping all of the fiber optics, the excess on the inside of the car, I noticed maybe like 5 that are out, which is fine compared to, you know, 1,030 fiber optic cables, fiber optic pieces. So what I did for the back seat, which will come to the back seat, what I did for the back seat, basically what I did, so obviously once I got the headliner back in, I forgot to mention that there is a push pin like about right here, and then there's 3 regular clips here, and then there's another push pin about right there. So essentially there's like 5 clips total that are back here that are holding the rear of your headliner in. So basically the 3 clips, they kind of go into the actual your third brake light, and then that's that. So what I did, since I had the bundles of fiber optics, what I did was I ran them behind here. So essentially after I pulled this off, there's kind of like a I explained it earlier, there's like a band that's actually holding this cover to the frame of your car. So if your airbag ever deploys, it only deploys so far, so it doesn't like destroy your face. So basically it's like a push tab. So you kind of push it, gets it out one side, you push it again, you fully unlock it. So you take that off. What I did was I ran the fiber optic bundle all the way to the end of the airbag that's right here, ran it behind it, so kind of bent around it, came back behind here. So behind here, if you pull your seats, there is a bolt that's right here. So I believe it's a 10 millimeter, right? So you take this 10 millimeter, you undo that, and then you pull out the push tab that's in the back of your cushion right here. And then I ran my my fiber optic bundle behind this this body panel piece right here, and it runs that in between the body of the car and the fabric right here, and then it runs down to the bottom into the bed of the trunk, so where your spare tire would be if you actually were given a spare tire. And that's pretty much how I ran that way. Have the light engines in the spare tire like wheel well area, and hooked it up via wiring. So we'll go take a look at that, so that way you guys can get a look at that. Alright, so obviously, like I said before, when it comes in between the body line, so basically kind of like this carpet felt deal, so I could just kind of push it to where I could feel it. So it comes underneath this this carpet, and then runs to the light engines. So for wiring, all I did was just splice the wires. So there's like cigarette lighter adapters for these, as well as like plugs. They're up in a box somewhere. So the plugs can go into like a wall. If you have a plug or a 12-volt plug, can go into that. But if you have, it comes with both. So you have the cigarette lighter. So what I did was I basically cut the end of the cigarette lighter off, stripped the outer sheath of the wiring, and then it exposed the red and black wire, and then I exposed the wires to both of those, spliced both of the cigarette lighter cords together, red to red, black to black, obviously, and then just attached a little ring onto the end of those, and then to that ring, I obviously ran one to ground, one to power. I was originally going to use a fuse tap. I'm not good with electrical, so I was just like, you know what, it is what it is. So I ran it how I ran it. So I ran one to the positive, one to the negative ground on the actual car. So now they're powered on. So obviously I have to manually cut it off myself, or else it's going to drain my battery. So essentially, obviously, like, this one's connected to music, so I can sit there and just, and it changes the color. So obviously with music, it'll change. That one I have on fade, on actually jump, so it's just changing colors randomly. So wired that to the car. So that literally completed the entire car. So to do that, I had to pull out all this other stuff. So I had to pull out the trunk carpet, and I still got to actually connect that back, so that way you don't see the seam. But overall, it was a smooth reinstall for the car. I'm actually very happy with how it turned out. So I definitely can't complain at all.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, drop your comments below. If you didn't like the video, drop your comments below. Love constructive feedback. If you're just there to bash in the comments, it is what it is. Don't be a douche. But you know, this definitely took some time. I wasn't rushing it, so I definitely love this mod. And if anybody wants to do this mod, please let me know. Hit me up. Follow my Instagram. It is the _iron_kat. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message on there. Feel free to DM me about any mods I do, any list of mods I have in the future. But until then, enjoy.